Forget gurus. Forget anyone claiming to be an online business expert without going through the challenges of entrepreneurship themselves. The Real Money, Real Business podcast is here to prove the best insights in online business comes from your fellow online business builders. We dig into stories of entrepreneurs selling their business on the Empire Flippers marketplace so that you can learn how they made their business profitable, how they overcame obstacles, and what lessons they learned in their online journey. If you want to take your business and your knowledge to the next level, you've come to the right podcast. Let's get started.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Real Money, Real Business podcast. We record these interviews so that potential buyers can learn more about the business and the seller to help them make an informed buying decision. If you would like to learn more about this business, including details like what type of business it is, how much revenue and profit it makes, and all of the assets included with the business, simply visit empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for this business's listing number, which you can find in the video thumbnail and in the description. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, you can click the link in the description to go straight to the listing. So without further ado, let's get into this interview. First up, let's learn a little bit about you. Can you tell us about your background in building and running online businesses?
Yeah, so my background's actually in accounting and finance. And personally, I had the idea of wanting to run my own business for a few years before actually starting. And when the COVID lockdowns happened, I spent a lot of time working from home, and I can't remember the exact video I came across, but it was something around Amazon FBA. And it was one of them things that just sounded too good to be true for myself. So I kind of started looking into it, tried to find the loophole, find the catch, but I never really found one. So I came up with the idea of Amazon FBA before I knew what I was going to sell, basically. So I was looking at my past purchases, trying to see how I could make them better, looking at stuff online. Spent a few weeks looking at what I wanted to sell. And then I went through my brother's purchases on Amazon, actually. But I just asked him out of interest, let me see what you bought and let me see if you can find a way to make any of them products better. And I found something that I thought, if this was branded properly, it'd outsell the competition comfortably. And that was starting in the UK marketplace. So, I found a good supplier, got some samples over, and just decided to place the first order of 1,000 units. I was really confident at the time. I was really confident it was going to work out. I think that always helps. And luckily enough, the first product really took off in the UK. It started selling really well, almost instantly, really. And then I expanded into Europe with the Pan EU program on Amazon. And from there, just launched a few more products under the same brand. And yeah, it's just kind of grown from there.
Why are you selling the business now instead of keeping it and growing it further?
So I've actually known that I wanted to work towards sale for the past 18 months, 2 years. I'm someone that always thrives in change. It's something that excites me. I like it. Even in my personal career before running my own business. Although I've been really successful in that, finance and accounts background, I've never stayed in the same position for the same company for any more than 2 years. I find that I always need to mix it up. So actually running this business for the best part of 5 years now. It's been a long stint and I've enjoyed every minute of it. But I just feel like the business is at the point now where somebody else could take it further than I will. One thing that attracted to an Amazon FBA business is not having to do the marketing and social media side, because it's not something that I enjoy doing. Now, of course, I could hire someone to do that for me, but I just feel somebody that's passionate about that side of things, and growing this business outside of Amazon will take it so much further than I will. As well as that, I've got involved in another business about 2 months ago. And this really has taken up a lot of my time. It's a lot more hands-on than the Amazon FBA business, but it's something that I'm really enjoying. I'm very passionate about. And that's just what I'm enjoying doing at the minute. I'd rather neglect my Amazon FBA business. And by no means am I doing that at the minute. But before that starts happening, I'd rather sell the business on to somebody that's going to prioritize it. I'm really taking it to where it can go, because I'm generally so confident in the brand and where it could go outside of Amazon. There's still so much growth on Amazon on the US side, not really brought that market properly. And I still think it's very achievable. Selling outside of Amazon, whether that be on a Shopify website, and really promoting it with social medias, and even approaching, different stores in different countries, physical stores that sell healthcare and beauty products. I just think there's a lot of opportunity there for it, but I don't feel I'm the best person to take it there anymore. I think I've, really well to get it to where it is. And I could really force myself to, push that side of things. But I just think somebody else could do a better job of it. And from a personal note, it is my first business. I started with very little capital, and it would be nice to, get a little bit of a payout and a little bit of reward after 5 years of, doing a pretty good job. So it'd be nice to get that from a personal note as well.
Can you describe the amount and the type of work that you do on this business to maintain it?
So I'll do a stock check on a weekly basis. I use Microsoft Excel for this. I know there's some softwares that provide tools for this, but I'm a bit of an Excel personally. So I use Excel. I'll take a average over the past 7 days of daily sales for each product and calculate how many days of stock I've got remaining. So typically once these days of stock get close to around 90 days, or maybe even close to 100, I know I need to start looking at making a new order for that product. Just take into sea shipping time plus production times, just to make sure I'm well ahead there, because there's nothing worse than being out of stock. And it's happened a couple of times and you learn from that. There's always the option for faster shipping through ground. I avoid air completely just because it's so expensive. When I was ordering lower quantities early on, it was a feasible option, but now it's just not worth it. So being proactive allows me to save on cost on the transport of the products. PPC, I'll keep an eye on it. It's fairly consistent in terms of the ACOSs for all the products in the marketplaces. It doesn't fluctuate too much. If one of the ACOS does start going a lot higher or a lot lower, I'll look into it individually, but typically I'll kind of go through all the advertising campaigns for each product once every 3 to 4 weeks. I do use a software for that, which is quite easy to use. Outside of that, I'll get a few customer messages. I do send automated emails via Amazon to the customers just to check they're happy with the service they've received, they're happy with the product, there's no issues, give them a chance to voice any concerns. 90% of these messages are saying that they're really happy, but you might get the odd one that's asking a question. Replying to these messages takes no longer than an hour a week. It's not a big job at all. Obviously, accounting, I use a system that automates the accounting of the invoices received from Amazon when I receive payment. And that just makes it really easy to stay on top of bookkeeping. Outside of that, apart from actually speaking to the supplier and ordering stock when I'm low, I think I've covered everything there. Makes it sound really easy. Which, to be honest, is very easy once you've got up and running. I think as a lot of people listening to this that have run FBA businesses in the past, the real hard work is growing the business. And once it's kind of stabilized, it is a very passive kind of business.
So if you were to keep this business, what are some of the ways you would try to grow it?
Yeah, I think you actually touched on this in an earlier question, but I'd definitely focus on the expansion into the US. I've only got one product over there at the minute, and I'd like to launch the other products over in the US. Such a big opportunity out there. Obviously, it's a lot more competitive in the European marketplaces, but because of the volumes of the sales that can be made, it's still a really large opportunity. I'd say selling outside of Amazon, massive opportunity. I've tried to convince myself to get into, but it's just something that's naturally in me. I don't like marketing and I don't like managing social media. I could get somebody to do that on my behalf and manage that side of things, but it's just something I've not come around to, especially with the kind of brand it is. I think it'd be really successful, on your Instagrams and your TikToks. I think it's extremely marketable. So I think it'd do really well having some direct sales to customers on its own website. And even outside, approach some physical stores that sell healthcare and beauty products. Like I say, again, it's such a sellable brand that I think it could do well in physical stores as well. I think it looks really high quality. Obviously, I'm biased, but I think it's a really high quality looking product. And I think the sky's the limit for the brand. I really do. I just don't feel I'm the right person to take it there. My passion at the minute is somewhere else. I'd rather acknowledge that now and let somebody else really take the business to where it deserves to go.
Right. And what would you say are the biggest risks with this business that buyers should be aware of?
The biggest risk at the minute is that Amazon has a lot of control over the products. And I think that's where expansion outside of Amazon, selling direct to customers, would be a really good idea. I have had a couple of issues in the past with products being made inactive. And, the reasoning behind why they've been deactivated has never really made any sense. And I think anyone that's sold on Amazon before will probably relate to this. The customer service isn't the best at Amazon, and it can be difficult to really explain points and even just get reasons to why something like that has happened. To give a couple of examples, it's things like the product doesn't match what's actually shown in the description page. I've had that one before, and there was no evidence behind it. The NCX rate was extremely low, like far less than 1%. But this is part of working in Amazon's world. I've got a lot more experience with these issues now, so I can get them resolved a lot quicker than I could the first 1 or 2 times it's happened. In 2023, my main product in the UK inactive for about 6 weeks, which was really frustrating, a really stressful time. And it happened again the following December, a bit of a shorter period because I kind of knew how to handle Amazon. And I've had it small deactivations since then. But like I say, I always get them resurrected because the reasons for them being deactivated are never really substantial. That's the main risk really with selling on Amazon. Like I say, it's something you work around, but when it's happening and, you can't sell your products for a couple of weeks or, it shouldn't be longer than a couple of weeks now. But yeah, when it's happening, it is a really frustrating time. That's just being completely open and honest. That's the main risk within Amazon FBA business. Outside of that, of course, you've got to keep your stock in, but that's for the most part within your control. I have had one instance of a shipment going into Poland from a pan EU stock was actually held for investigation. From what I heard from the supplier, it's relating to some other products that was in the shipment that weren't of my own, but they were actually held for over a month there. And that led me to being out of stock for a few weeks for one of my main products in Europe. So these things happen. It's something that, you can't really expect. You never know when they're going to happen. But luckily the business makes enough money in different marketplaces so that when something like this happens, it's not too business critical. But yeah, I'd say that's the main thing. There's nothing else that springs to mind.
How much support are you willing to offer the buyer who acquires this business?
So I would like to offer, as much support as possible for the first, even as long as 90 days, because I want the business to go well. The last thing I want to do is hand the business over and, look, it's your problem now kind of thing. So yeah, I want to support the business. I want it to have a smooth transition as possible so that the new buyer has all the information basically that they need to, first of all, maintain the business at where it is and know, where the growth points really are. So yeah, I'd say 90 days of support I'm more than happy with, and I'm willing to negotiate on that as well, because I do want to just work around whatever's best for the business and the new buyer.
Are you open to negotiating something like an earn-out agreement?
To be honest, it wouldn't be my first choice. I would prefer an outright sale just because it's cleaner. It'd be easier for me to focus on my other business that it really is taking up a lot of my time. But having said that, it's not something that I'd say is a definite no to. I would consider it. Obviously, it depends on the terms and the circumstances, how long that'd be for, how the payments will be made, what percentages. So I'm not fully against it. Like I say, it wouldn't be my first choice, but I'm more than open for discussion and to talk about it.
Okay, final question. If you had to put yourself in the shoes of a buyer, why is your business a business worth buying?
To put it simply, I'd say scalability. At risk of repeating myself, it could be doing more on Amazon, especially in North America. I've really not broken to that market yet. And I'm already making, taking that out just in the UK and Europe with just a few products. The business already doing really well, really making significant profits. I think if you expand that into North America properly and get all the products over there, maybe launch some more products under the branding, expanding that branding outside of Amazon, which I think is an even bigger opportunity, a little bit more work. But I think if, the new buyer is passionate, which definitely should be if they're buying the business, this business could do so well on social media. It just needs somebody that understands that world, because I really don't. Yeah, I really can see this branding and these products on TikTok Reels and Instagram Reels and on Facebook. I really can visualize it and picture it. And I think that's where the excitement is with this business. Having said that, that's probably why I would be slightly open to an earn-out, because I do believe the business could do really well. But yeah, that's it. I think the excitement of where it could go. I acknowledge I'm happy with the progress I've made in the past 5 years or so, but it's still a new business by all means, and it could go a lot further under the right kind of guidance. So I think it's a great buy, but of course I'm biased.
All right, everyone. Thanks for listening. To learn more and see if this business is still for sale, head over to empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for this business listing number, which you can find in the video thumbnail and description. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, click the link in the description to go straight to the listing. Once you've unlocked this listing, you'll find everything you need to know about this business. So thanks for joining us. See you next time.